million every year, and then do it for 1,000 years without spending a dime. La-di-di-di. And if you make $1 million every year for 100,000 years, you still have less than the top 5 at this time.
But compounding interest and blah blah blah, sound investments and blah blah blah, risk assessment and blah blah blah, blah blah.
Fuck your blah blah. Don't give me bullshit lines about debt and credit. I'll simplify so everybody can get it, because people work hard while billionaires smart, cause you don't make $1 billion with work. I said if you wanna be a billionaire, you gotta make $1 million every year. Do it for 1,000 years without spending a dime. La-da-da-da. And if you're born a billionaire and you wanna spend it all in 80 years, that's 34 grand a day, 12 million a year. Well, we're driving up profits, trying to cut costs. Fuck environmental protection laws. My toxic spills will still kill the animals, and I'm not cleaning up. None of my profits are gonna fall. Why innovate or optimize when I can bribe a senator and get subsidized? You're gonna buy and replace every year, cause I got the market monopolized. Now if you wanna be a billionaire, here's what you do. You gotta make $1 million every year, and then do it for 1,000 years without spending a dime. La-di-di-di. And in 2025, the richest dudes alive can spend 7 million every day for 80 years.
You really think that anyone deserves more than like 50 grand a month?
What? No.
Now what is 50 grand a month over 80 years?
That's a good question. That's less than 50 million, not 500 million or $1 billion, barely 50 million. Now here's a great idea.
Nobody should have more money than I. Nobody should have more money than I. Give it back,
Motherfucker.
nobody should have more money than I. Give it back, I give it back, give it back. Nobody should have more money than I. Give it back to the world, back to the world. Nobody should have more money than I. Give it back, you didn't earn it, don't need it. Nobody should have more money than I. Give it back to the world, you have mistreated. Nobody should have more money than that. The hungry are dying, the planet is frying, and you're fucking flying to space for fun. You're fucking done. Now you're gonna give that money you plundered back to everyone and get shot into the sun. Bitch.
Now if you wanna be a billionaire, fuck you, you can't. Unless it's like in pesos, and I guess it's fine. La-di-di-di. Now just think what could be done with 20 trillion. Some redistribution would be sublime. Yeah. Wanna be a billionaire, you gotta make $1 million every year, and then do it for 1,000 years without spending a dime. La-di-di-di. And if you make $1 million every year for 100,000 years, you still have less than the top 5 at this time. Whoa, bloopy doop.
Hey, welcome to the Every.Thing.After podcast. I'm really excited this week to have in the studio Rocky Leon. Rocky's a hip-hop, reggae, ska, one-man band. Divides his time between California and Austria. I believe we're talking to him now in Vienna, Austria. Is that correct, Rocky?
That's correct.
And I came across Rocky on Instagram, like maybe many of you have, and just got drawn in by really just his infectious joy. Whether he's singing about, the kind of disgust over the billionaire class, or just his personal philosophy about happiness, just his joy really shines through in all of his music. He does this really cool thing when he's singing. Sometimes he's out on a skateboard, and it's just really a lot of fun. So I had to reach out and see if we could get him on the podcast to talk about it, because this is a show where we talk about music as philosophy, and music as community, and music as therapy. And I know, Rocky, you have a lot of passion about those things. Particularly, you talk a lot about mental health. So thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Well, I got a guitar for my birthday when I was 6. Started taking lessons when I was 8. I didn't flat out refused to learn the notes and the scales. The guitar teacher wanted to teach me how to actually play it, but I just wanted to like jump on the table and rock out power chords, and I just apparently insisted that that's all I was gonna learn, and he was getting paid, so he was like, "All right, fine, we're just gonna play power chords." And it wasn't until like I'd already been playing guitar for like 7 years when I discovered the use of scales for like improvising guitar solos and knowing what notes you can use. And when I was 15, I moved from California to Austria, where my mother's from. And I went to university here. I studied music production. And in the course of that, I studied music production for the purpose of wanting to be able to produce my own music, because producers are expensive, studios are expensive, and I, just wanted to be able to do my art independently. And as I was approaching the end of my bachelor, my early 20s, you're faced with the question, what do you want to do with your life? You gotta at some point be a grown up and do the real job thing. And I had done this like a wilderness survival summer camp where they taught us about like surviving in the wilderness just with what is there. And it was a lot about philosophy and how do I say this concisely? The thing that I took away from this was that you don't actually need that much to not die. Like when one has the impression, living in a capitalist society, that you have to do a lot to just stay alive. But these wilderness people, like, we didn't actually have to survive in the woods. We were just learning about how it's done. But these are people who, they will go out for like months at a time with nothing but a knife and just live in the woods. And, and so the things that you need to not die are shelter. If it's cold at night, you're not gonna be able to just sleep on the ground. You need water, because after 3 days in the sun, you will die if you don't have water. And food, but you can go like 3 or 4 weeks without eating. And so what I wanted to know was whether it's possible for me to make a living, to survive, just playing music. Because I went to, my mom is from Salzburg. It's a town in Austria where I then moved when I was 15, and I went to high school and college there. And it's a fairly, let's say, like an affluent town. So one encounters people with money. Most people there, kind of upper middle class. And such miserable, grumpy people you would not believe. And so, you're in your early 20s. You're thinking, what do you want to do with your life? You want to, you want to be happy. You want to do something you love. But you also want to not die. And so, but like seeing these grumpy rich people, it just got really clear to me that there doesn't seem to be a direct correlation between making a lot of money and being happy in your life. And so I thought, like, deciding what path to take in my life based on how much money I can make doing that seems kind of insane. If I'm going to follow a path that makes me unhappy, then it doesn't matter how much money it pays, because no matter how much money you have, if you're doing something every day that you hate, you're unhappy. And so I thought, like, okay, in order to not die, I need some food, some water, and some shelter. And in order to be happy, I need to do what I love to do. And if I can make enough to cover the costs of shelter, food, and, water is, by doing the thing that I love, then I kind of have it made, and I don't need to worry about anything beyond that. And so everyone else in my bachelor program continued on to do the master, but to me it was already clear that the more education you get there is kind of gearing you towards working in a studio for clients, doing advertisement jingles or sound design for, I don't know, video games, things that are not my thing. I just want to do my music. And so I figured I'm not gonna spend another 2 years in school molding myself to be a tool for the capitalist economy. I want to find out whether it's possible for me to not die only doing what I love. And I had been in Salzburg for 10 years at that point, and I thought I wanted to see something else. I want to go travel. And so I decided to do an experiment and go travel for the better part of a year, 100% on the money that I make along the way busking, to not die. So this was 2010, and couch surfing was was a thing back then. It has since degraded a lot, but it was a website where you had like a profile, and you could find people who would host you and let you sleep on their couch in different cities. And, you know, they would have a profile and people would write reviews of whether they were cool. So, you know, you're not staying with a psychopath if, you know, they've had
Right.
a bunch of other people staying with them before. So I could, if I organized it properly, I could have shelter for free. Hitchhiking is free. I can get from A to B. Water is not an expense. And so basically I just needed to make enough money to eat. And, you know, I learned in my wilderness survival summer camp that you can go quite a while without eating anything. And so I figured, you know, I'm a dude. I'm white enough. I'm straight. What's going to happen to me? Nobody's going to kill me. Like, people will tell you, you know, like, if you tell people about your plan to go hitchhiking across the world, you're going to get murdered. But you're not going to get murdered, and you're not going to starve to death, and you're not going to freeze to death. And so in the fall of 2010, I flew to Vancouver, Canada, and then over the course of the next 6 months or so, I hitchhiked down the west coast of North America. Yeah, just kind of busking and trying to organize little shows in places just along the way, seeing what I could hustle up. And when I flew to Vancouver, I had a couch surfing host there for a week, and then I went to Vancouver Island, where I had a couch surfing host, a guy who I admit actually he was couch surfing in Salzburg a year or two before, and he had stayed with me. And so I stayed with him then in Vancouver Island. And so those first 2 weeks were planned, but then after that it was, you know, out in not knowing how am I going to get to the next place, how am I, you know, the next goal was Seattle, Washington. So that's when the adventure really started. And so I took a ferry from Vancouver Island over to Washington State, and on the boat I met this other young woman from France who was also hitchhiking and backpacking, and we were chatting and hanging out on the boat, and I was like playing my ukulele, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is so cool! Let me make a video." And so she filmed me singing my song there on this boat, and like it was this really magical energy of like the adventure is now starting. Like I'm on this boat, and this boat lands, you know, somewhere in Washington somewhere, and I have to then get to Seattle somehow, like 200 miles, I don't know. And it had been kind of rainy and cloudy up until that day. That day the sun came out, and you know, my adventure is starting. I meet this beautiful French girl, and we're hitting it off, and she makes this video, and by sheer chance, like, her couch surfing host fell through. No, my couch surfing host fell through, and she was gonna come with me, stay with this couch surfing person, because she was also just kind of adventuring about. These are unimportant details. Long story short, I wouldn't have thought to ask for the video, but then she like thought to give it to me like at some point later, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and you know, not thinking anything about anything, I uploaded it, whatever, and it went crazy viral in Eastern Europe. And this was like 2010. This was like, you know, early days of things, and I think it got like close to 2 million views, and I just started getting. All right, so I continue on my adventure, hitchhiking down the coast, busking, and I'm in San Francisco then, and I'm getting comments and messages every day on YouTube from people, come to Russia, oh my God, come to Russia. And I relatively quickly actually had to deactivate the comments on YouTube because I was not ready. I wasn't trying to get famous. I was just out trying to not die, and flooded with all these. I would get, you know, an email every time I got a comment on YouTube. One day I wake up and there's like, you know, hundreds of emails. I'm like, okay, I got to deactivate this. I can't have all these emails coming in. And then I was just so overwhelmed by like the 2 troll comments or something that I just stopped reading the comments altogether and just kind of boycotted internet presence for 10 years. But that video, people were like sending me messages on Facebook, on email, commenting that I should come to Russia. And I'm like, I'm a poor street musician. I don't have money to fly to Russia. I thought, all right, listen, if I looked it up, for the visa and the flight, I need about 500 euros. So if someone wants to organize a show where 100 people come and pay €5, then that would cover the cost of me coming to Russia. And so this guy wrote to me. He was like, "Yeah, I will do the thing, fly you out here." And then I went from playing busking on the street in San Francisco, where San Francisco has been heavily gentrified over the last 2 decades. So if you are in San Francisco, you are basically either a tech millionaire or you are homeless. There is next to nothing in between. So naturally, someone who looks like me standing on the street singing is going to be classified into the homeless group for the passersby. So I go from that to 2 weeks later playing for a sold-out venue for 800 people in Moscow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
yeah, it was nuts. And then from there, that was then 2011. I was then touring in Russia, Ukraine, Czech, Slovakia, like twice a year from then on.
That's quite a rocket ride that you were on there. Like you said, it's just sort of unexpected, just things happening, just letting the universe kind of decide in a lot of sense. And now you've put out 4 albums, right?
Yeah.
You just released some new music, I think. But we were talking before we jumped on the interview here about just how things are blowing up for you all over social media, and you're just getting all this attention and everything. I think that's just incredible. I'm glad to hear that things are working out so well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing.
How have you kind of dealt with that? It's not easy for anyone to make that kind of a leap in such a relatively short amount of time. How are you doing with your mental health?
I'm good. So when this video blew up 15 years ago at this point, I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't really active on the internet in any big way in 2010. And so I was just overwhelmed by something that was kind of thrown at me and all this fame. Like I was suddenly touring all the time, but I hadn't worked my way there. I hadn't been trying to do that. But then I just blew up so much that like for 10 years I was making a living without even a booker or a management, just from the individual venues writing to me asking me to come play. And then the pandemic came and everything kind of fell apart. And because I didn't have like a machine in place, like an agency or anything that could write to venues and bookers and get me shows, and I hadn't ever done that work myself. Like I hadn't gotten myself there. It just kind of happened serendipitously. And I had noticed early on that the work of writing to promoters burns me out so much that I can't do it. Like if it's necessary for me to write to bookers and promoters in order to get shows, then I just won't have shows. I just played the shows that were offered to me. And, I didn't try to grow. What the universe provided, and I focused on playing, on doing what I actually want to do. And that worked up until the pandemic. But then it didn't work anymore. So in 2023, I decided, all right, I have to actually start making an effort if I want my music career to be a thing again that I can rely on. And so I started trying, forcing myself to do the content making thing that one as a musician in 2025, 2023, you have to do it. You have to be you have to be feeding these stupid algorithms and giving people stuff all the time. And I had, I think a lot of musicians have a really strong resistance to doing that because, like, the part of the thing that makes music so magical is the way that the energy transfers from the person who's playing it to the person who's hearing it, and the person who's hearing it is then transferring their energy back to the person playing it, and so you have this like feedback loop, and you don't have that when you're singing for a camera in your room. It's
Right.
just, and so you kind of have to fake it, and I can't fake anything. I think a part of why I have enjoyed the success that I have is that I just am the way I am, and I don't try to put on like a mask. Like I don't try to, perform artificially. And so now, I was trying to hustle the social media thing now since 2023, and it was not super working, and I was not enjoying having to do it, but I was, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. And it wasn't until then it was September, October. I'm releasing a new album, but I'm releasing it song by song as I finish it. I'm not spending 2 years in the studio before I start releasing. So I have 4 down. Billionaire was the second song on the album, and I was, looking for fun ways to promote it, and I went swimming. I live close to a river, and I thought, I could just film myself singing along while I'm on my way to go swimming, while I'm riding my skateboard, just because I'm going there anyway, and I don't know, maybe it looks fun if I'm on a skateboard and I'm singing my song and the world is going by behind me, and that I noticed that I don't hate doing that, because I'm not performing at a camera. I'm just skateboarding and singing a song.
So you did that in one take? Was that the first time you did that video that we see on social of you?
The first one I did, I cut in, the first one I did skateboarding, it didn't blow up super hard. I cut it into a bunch of segments to see what would work and tried out some on-screen texts, and of those, none of them blew up really hard, but I then did notice that one of them did a lot better than the others, and then I figured out why, which is because what I hadn't been considering is that, the way that social media works now with the algorithms is it shows you to a lot of people who don't already know you. And if you're trying to grab the attention of someone who doesn't know what you're already doing or doesn't already know what the song is about, you have to communicate with them differently than if you're communicating with someone who already knows you and already knows the song. And so I had the idea to write on screen, I wrote this song about a billion is. Because if I just write this song is about, people who don't know me don't know that I wrote the song. And if I write something meta about the context of the specific lines in the part that I'm sharing, nobody gets it because they don't have so I wrote the song, and then about a billion is ridiculous. And then I noticed that just went better. And then I tried using that line again, but just the whole song. And that then instantly blew up on TikTok first. The one that blew up on Instagram is a different video where I did the same thing. It's really interesting. 2 completely different videos. Well, they're not completely. They're both me skateboarding somewhere through the city with the line, and yeah, tens of thousands of people clicked on hundreds of thousands of people, and but it was amazing because I had actually been trying to do that unlike 15 years ago, and it was just oops, oh shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes a tremendous difference when you're actually trying to achieve something. But I was surprised how my reaction went from not being able to believe that this is happening right now and not being able to be happy about it because you just can't wrap your head around, because, every time you pick up your phone, there's another 3 dozen comments and hundreds of likes. You can't process it. And then it just went, it went from me not being able to grasp what this might mean, to me being stressed out that now I have to maintain this momentum and post more things, because otherwise it's just gonna dip again and then everybody will forget about me immediately. So I should be happy, but I just can't believe it. And then I've accepted that this is a thing. I have found a working strategy for how to manage my time and get through answering all these comments and writing to people, and now, oh shit, I have to maintain this now. And then there's no space to celebrate it in between. You're just I can't believe it, and oh shit, this is actually not stressful.
Oh man. Well, I think you can ride this wave for a little while. I hope you can find some time to be happy about it and to celebrate it. I think it's a really incredible thing that you're doing. Billionaire was the first thing that I saw, and then of course I've been kind of hooked on your content since then and just everything you put out. You said that's the second song of 4 songs that you've put out for this new album. And I think you have a really unique sound and philosophy about things, but could you talk a little bit about who influenced you? Where does a lot of that come from in your mind?
I mean, musically, I have been heavily influenced by bands like Sublime or Real Big Fish. I don't know if you're familiar. Late 90s ska punk bands, Goldfinger, and the likes. I think Real Big Fish had a strong impact on me philosophically as well, because they have a lot. Are you familiar with the band?
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter for the people who are listening who aren't familiar with the band. They have a lot of songs like it's extremely cheerful, happy music, and a lot of the songs are just complaining about things that are terrible. Like they have a song called "Everything Sucks." It's amazing. A lot of their songs are just bitching about shit. One song is
Yeah.
called "Everyone Else Is an Asshole," and but they're just the most cheerful songs. And I feel like life. Yeah, life is beautiful, blah, 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 but also life fucking sucks. Life is fucking tenuous and stupid and terrible, and people are awful. But life is also, it can be so much fun. And, the fact that, things are challenging and difficult, I don't want that to drag me down. Like, that's just part of life, but that doesn't mean I can't have fun and celebrate life and enjoy myself. And for me personally, I don't like mopey music ever. I don't like sad songs ever. I'm never in the mood to hear a sad mopey song. And I feel like music has a function, which is for me, it's different for everyone, of course, but I feel like the function of music, as I see it, is to provide people with a distraction or like a break from their strenuous life, from their job, from their problems. Like they go to a show and they want to have fun. They don't want to be preached to, and they don't want to be, they don't want to hear about, they don't want to be dragged down by me singing sad songs about my mopey shit or whatever. They just want to have fun. Obviously, people are different, and some people do want to hear sad songs, but I don't. And it's like I play the kind of music that I would want to hear. I want to go out to a show. I want to be jumping and dancing and laughing in the face of my problems, laughing in the face of all the, terrible shit. Because as much as things suck, if it's not about closing your eyes to all the misery in the world, it's about maintaining the energy that you need to actually fight the battles that you choose to fight. And if I let myself get dragged down and drained by doom and despair, then I don't have energy left to contribute something positive to the world.
I get it, man. And like when you put the music out, like you're on your skateboard and stuff, like you're singing, obviously you have usually a big grin on your face. The movement, I think, sort of also conveys just sort of like an upbeat vibe to the songs. But you're not necessarily singing about happy things. Like you're singing about, just the ridiculousness again of being of having $1 billion. It's a social commentary, and you say on your website that you enjoy music that expresses intense emotions, and so it's not always joy and happiness. So sometimes it's rage in a sense, but you do it with an optimism, I think, which I think is really important.
Thank you. Yes, I agree that is important.
And I guess reggae in a sense has always, at least in part, been used in protest songs, and some of your music could qualify as a protest song, but it's done with a sort of a different kind of lens, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me, what's also a factor for me is that a lot of political music or protest music, I feel like people are just patting themselves on the back and like not. I feel like how do I put this? If I want to convey a political message, ideally, I want to reach someone who doesn't already feel the same way as I do. Someone who, because otherwise, you're just preaching to the choir, and what's the point?
Right.
If I'm talking to other, progressives, yeah, cool. We all agree that, everybody should have rights and not get killed and exploited. But if I think it's much more valuable if you can sneak your message into the minds of people who don't already agree with you. And so for the majority of my career, I've been a lot less overtly political in my songwriting because I don't want to scare off people who are not already, my bubble. Yeah, so I want to actually, make a difference and change some people's minds, and I can't do that if I'm already coming at them with like a preachy energy that they're just gonna immediately block off before they even listen to an argument I'm trying to make.
This new, yeah, this new album that you have that you're putting out song by song. Like I said, we talked about Billionaire. This is the second song you released. You've got other songs in here. You've got one about turning 40 this year. I feel that. I've been there. And you have a song called I Feel Like Shit. You have a song, I think your most recent release is I'm Not Well If You're Not All Right. Do you feel a theme running through these songs as you're writing them? Or what's your process been like in songwriting these? What's the album going to be called when it's all pulled together? You got a sense for that? Like just the big picture of what this album means to you?
Well, I started working. So the songs that are going on this album started getting worked on as far back as 2020, the last 5 years, and I wasn't able to use the pandemic years as productively as I would have liked. It just kind of killed all my inspiration, and I wasn't writing. And I had 5 years went by, and I had like 2 or 3 new songs that were all right. And it wasn't until then I wrote the I Feel Like Shit song, where I was just, I'd been gradually sliding into mopiness over, not being as productive as I would have liked. And then writing that song kind of kicked me back into gear. And then over the course of the next couple months, I wrote another, 5, 6, 7 songs. And then I was like, okay, now I have enough songs to make an album. Realistically, albums don't actually matter that much, but I mean, I'm 40, so in my head, you still need to make a long player. Or
Yeah. So is it more than like not so much a theme, but just a sort of a portrait of you at this time in your life? Would you say that?
The theme is kind of the name for the album that I've been playing with is Little Troll, because I kind of over the last years kind of a little bit lost my patience with trying to be subtle and diplomatic with, people who, like I said before, aren't already in my bubble. I said I tried for the majority of my career to, kind of sneak in subtly and, not scare anyone off. But I kind of lost patience for that, watching, more and more of the world just sliding into fascism. And it's kind of, so a lot of the songs on the album are much more in your face politically than I would previously have written. The ones that I've released so far are still a bit on the tame side, so the theme of the little trollness doesn't necessarily yet come out as strongly as it will.
Well, I can't wait to hear what comes next. I think that these songs that you're releasing are great. I can't wait to hear the 5th song in this album when it comes out. Who are you listening to right now that's really meaningful for you? Like, what's an artist that you've either recently discovered or rediscovered that's just, when you have time, when you're not blowing up everything, what do you listen to?
So, shamefully, but I think this goes for a lot of musicians, but since I started devoting my life to making music, there stopped being any situations in which I would put on music and listen to it. Like, that was very much a part of my life when I was a kid and a teenager. But then at some point, like, I'm just at all times working on music or thinking about music. And so if I'm not at any moment dealing with music on a professional level, I am just enjoying not listening to music. I mean, for certain situations, I'll put on certain kinds of background music, but I shamefully have all but stopped listening to music actively.
Is there an artist out now, whether it's someone that you listen to growing up or whatever, that I know you're a one-man band in a sense. You do everything on your own. You're self-produced. You're an independent artist. But is there someone that you would just love to collaborate with, whether that's going on a sort of tour with or doing something recording-wise with?
Yeah, Dub Effects. Are you familiar with Dub Effects?
No.
He is also a live looping artist. He's the one that inspired me to start doing the live looping thing. He also started out as a street artist, and some of his songs went viral also on YouTube, which is where I discovered him back in 2009, I believe. Dub Effects, like DUBFX.
Cool.
He is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to look him up. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about some of the some of the new opportunities that are popping up for you and what's next. You, as a street performer, as a solo artist, I imagine you're pretty mobile, ready to go. You can travel pretty light, get out on the road, play a show. Are you getting a lot of show offers, and what's that look like for you now?
It is slowly starting to pick up. However, the vast majority, it's funny, when I was in, my video blew up 15 years ago, the Quit Your Whining video on the boat, that blew up in Russia, and I was in California at the time. And now, the Billionaires song is blowing up, mostly in the US, but I'm in Austria. I haven't been back to the US in 12 years,
Oh, really?
and I'm kind of scared to go.
Yeah.
It seems threatening there. But yeah, the virtual blowing up has not yet directly translated to a bunch of concert requests, but it is process.
Yes, yes. Well, I hope you can make it back this way. I get this. I understand. I feel that. I hate that it's like that right now, but I think we all need a little bit of that Rocky Leon joy to help pull us out of it. So hopefully you can get back to the States sometimes and play some shows. That'd be great.
Would indeed. I wrote this song for my neighbor Gary, my Republican neighbor Gary. Gary wants to live in a white Christian ethno-state. Gary wants to control what everyone else in the world does with his religion. Now, I think religion is beautiful. I think all the religions are equally adorable. But if you want to control what other people do with your religion, then, respectfully, go fuck yourself. Love your church and your religion. Love your country and love your God. Love your hate and your division. You are clearly not a fraud. Love yourself and love your mother. Love your brother. Love your dad. Love your judgments of the others, cause you know best what's good and bad. Love your values and convictions, your traditions and beliefs. Love your scripture and your mission and your bishops and your priests. Love your prayers and your opinions. You're a minion for the man. Love your racist propaganda. Loving Christian Taliban. Love the patriots and the patriarchy. Love the police. Love the army. Piss on and love authority. Love the norms and love some more. Love your Q and love your anon. Love your anus. Love your face. Love your ego. Mi amigo. Love your stupid master race. Love your law. Love your order. Love your border and love your wall. Love your guns. Love your flag. Love your troops and love you all. Love the patriots and the patriarchy. Love the police. Love the army. Piss on and love authority. Love the norms and love some more. Love the patriots and the patriarchy. Love the police and love the army. Piss on and love authority. Love the norms. Love all the norms. Love all the norms. Then love some more. Do 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 do. Love wasn't the original word in this song, but I couldn't do that to my mom. She said, if you sing that, you're going to get shot. Could you please motherfucking not? And I'm like, okay, Mom, fine. Fine, yes, but Mom, I know he's crazy, and he has guns, I know. I won't sing the fucking song, Mom. I'll change it. I'll change it. Hey, Gary. Fuck you. And fuck your church and your religion. Fuck your country, fuck your God. Fuck your hate and your division. You're a complete fucking fraud. Fuck yourself and your opinions. You're a minion for the man. Fuck your racist propaganda. Fucking Christian Taliban. Fuck the patriots and the patriarchy. Fuck the police and fuck the army. Piss on and fuck authority. Fuck the norms. Fuck some more. Fuck the patriots and the patriarchy. Fuck the police and fuck the army. Piss on and fuck authority. Fuck the norms. Fuck all the norms. Fuck all the norms. Then fuck some more.
Oh man, that was great. I love that.
Thank you.
I could already see you playing that, singing that on a skateboard. It's gonna be awesome. That's great, man. Thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And thanks for doing the podcast. It's been really great talking to you and getting to know you. And I can't wait to hear more of your stuff.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And, hey, I'm Rocky Leon. My ETA is doing everything I can to prevent the inevitable apocalypse. But if I can't prevent the inevitable apocalypse, then at least making the time up until then as fun and enjoyable as possible.
My knee-jerk reaction